Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be doing a restoration of a client's dolls that she gave me to restore. I don't usually do restorations like this anymore that frequently because I am so busy. For some reason I felt like I needed 4 full-time jobs. But for my grandfathered in clients, I do like to work on their dolls and such, and I'm very grateful to work on these dolls. It was a big variety of dolls. We had an American Girl, a number 4, Ponytail Barbies, Reroots, we had it all. So I hope you all love the video. I hope you stay tuned, and thank you all so much for watching. And without further ado, let's get into it. Before your eyes, I have a bunch of little clients right here. It is honestly going to be some work. They all pretty much basically need more than a spa day. They're gonna need a miracle.
Clean up this mess! Ow! You figure it out.
A lot of them have various condition flaws like this American Girl, and unfortunately she has been you know, somebody made an attempt before and there's like super glue on there, so they didn't do a very good job.
I'll drink to that!
And we're gonna have to trade out her legs because these are just atrocious. We also have this number 4 who looks very beautiful and doesn't look like a lot of work, but as we move to the back, she's got a neck split in 2 directions, which that's not good, but she's absolutely gorgeous. I love this number 4. Like, if I could keep any of these, which these are not my dolls, by the way, but if I could keep any of them, I definitely would want to keep this one. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. We have a number 7 Ponytail right here. Again, somebody tried to restore her and they did the best they could, but I'm going to do a little bit of a better job, I hope. And then we have a number 6 Ponytail. Now this doll unfortunately has a haircut, so I think I'm gonna make her into a bun ponytail because she doesn't really have enough hair for anything else. Now I would reroot her, but I absolutely adore her bangs, and to be honest, I don't have any Tishan hair right now, and I really just kind of want to get these out and about and get them back to their owner as soon as possible. And the owner doesn't mind if she's not a fully rooted ponytail. So anyway, they're all going to look very pretty. And then over here, we've got these 2 little heads right here, which used to be bubble cuts. But the client wants me to make them into swirls, which is fine by me. I can make them into swirls. We have a Francie, twist and turn Francie, who is looking pretty rough. Like, she's not that bad though. Like, her face paint is pretty good. Her lashes need to be redone. Her whole hair needs to be washed. Like, everything about her needs to be washed. She's pretty dingy. And her face needs to be recolored, and she needs more blush. And I can do all of that. And then over here, we have a Sun Lovin'. Guess who it is? It's a Malibu, but it's not Barbie, actually. It is Malibu PJ. In the Philippines, you will have variations of these Sun Lovin' dolls, and one of them is this Malibu PJ with a Malibu Barbie head. And you can tell that it's Malibu PJ because of the rooting pattern. The thatching goes all the way down to the back for pigtails. I've had this doll in the box before. She's quite an oddity and she's pretty special. So, you know, the fact that she did arrive with a haircut and she needs a little bit more hair, it doesn't matter. I know a lot of people will fight on me about this and say that it's Barbie, but it's not, it's PJ. Please know your Barbie knowledge before you attack somebody about things you really don't know. But like I said, I have found this in the box. I know it happened. It is on the internet. If you would like to see it, maybe I'll post a picture right over here so that you can see. I'm not lying, it is Malibu PJ. Over here we have free moving Barbie, but she's on a standard twist and turn 70s body, which is very loose, but I don't really mind. I think whenever she has on an outfit, it'll look better. This doll is pretty rough. It's been in my bin for a while and I've been waiting for a free moving Barbie body, but then I was like, you know, it doesn't really matter. Like, she could be on this one, it's fine. And she is pretty rough, looks pretty dingy. and she will need to be rethatched. We don't really know what's going on with her, but I think that this is a beautiful doll, and she's very Superstar Barbie as she came out right before Superstar Barbie, so she does have like that facial screening that's really gorgeous. She just looks like a Sweet 16 Barbie with a different hairstyle, and I'm all about it. But yeah, I've got my work cut out for me. I need to get all these dolls done and back to their people. I'm gonna hope that I can make this a speedy restoration. Before I throw them all into a bath, I'm actually going to address her little neck split on the back of her head. So because it goes so deep into the hairline, I am actually going to glue this before, and I will show you how I fix my neck splits. Before I start gluing, I'm going to clean the area with some rubbing alcohol. I don't want to submerge the head in the water and completely get it wet, as I don't want the hair to get all wet and then matted, because I'm not going to pull and tug on it just yet. I'm just going to take the Q-tip and rub it all around the vinyl and all around the ripped area and just take my time with it. This should be a pretty straightforward neck split repair. Unfortunately, it's in the back of the head, so honestly, if you do tend to mess up, no one's going to see it. Just because no one's going to see it doesn't mean that you don't need to be careful, because obviously you do. And a good way to get off super glue residue is actually to use straight up acetone. That's just in case you do mess up. Remember, if that is going to be on a painted vinyl surface and you use acetone, you will take off any of that paint. Now that the affected area has been cleaned, we can get started. Okay, so when fixing a neck split, you will need something that is long and pointy. Oh! So you can either use a toothpick or you can use a pen. Either or is going to be fine. This toothpick should do a good job, but if there's going to be some really tiny places, I think I'm going to use my little pen right here. So when we go to the back, the first one that I'm really going to focus on is this one right here. Do you see like where the vinyl is separating right there? That's the first one I'm going to tackle, followed by this right here where it's literally being hanged onto by a little piece of vinyl. It's my second spot. And then my third is going to be right over here at this. Well, it is a surprise one. I didn't know that it was there to begin with, but hopefully we can get this looking all nice and great. And usually I would fix a neck split after I washed the item. However, I can't really wash this doll and do her hair because her hair's going to come right out because of that neck split. So I'm going to address that before I do anything. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get my super glue. This is the super glue I use. You can use any kind of super glue that you would like. You could even use a rubbery vinyl super glue. I've used those in the past and those work pretty well. What you're going to do is you're going to pour a little bit right here. All right, and that is going to be the super glue that you want to use. So you can go ahead and use your toothpick. You would just want to get like the tip in there. We're going to go in, and I'm going to try to stay away from the hair, but it really doesn't matter. It's going to touch the hair. But I'm going to go in there to the furthest piece of vinyl, right back in there. And I'm going to come and then close. Just like that. I'm going to put some pressure on it. Another thing you might need is a Q-tip, and that's if your glue goes out and about of where you don't want it to. So you can use your Q-tip. Now this vinyl rip is actually on the inside of the hair as well. So we're going to try to make our way in there if we can. The vinyl rip happened due to age, but it also wasn't helped by the fact of how close these were rooted in together and how thick they actually rooted this doll's hair. This doll has a lot of hair, which is not as common for the ponytails. It is very nice and thick and luxurious, and unfortunately, that has caused some vinyl ripping. So usually later on, they did 2 rows, so you would have 1 row right here and then 1 row behind it. But this doll in particular, this is a number 4, she just has 1 thick row. And that honestly could be what really did her in with this neck split. Okay. here. And check this out so you can see the vinyl rip. Right here, we're gonna pinch it. I'm putting this on the vinyl. This, of course, is going to touch the hair mostly. That's okay. Just try not to get it on your hair, if that makes any sense. We don't want to glue the hair in place. We want to glue the vinyl. Okay. So I'm going to come back over here. Actually, I'm going to use my needle. Okay, there you go. Again, apply pressure. You don't have to do all of your neck splits. Like for instance, if your doll has, 3 neck splits, you can work on them one at a time. You don't have to be rushed to do all of them together. So now I'm just going to slip this in right here. So like I'm going into that crack right there with my needle. Just going to make sure that every bit of the vinyl does get some sort of glue on it, and then I'm going to come back and then press down. I do see some glue right there. I'm just gonna swipe it off. I've got one more spot right up here. Going to pinch. Take my glue. Go into the split. Okay. Hold down like so. Now before I do a lot of work on this doll, I am actually just going to let the glue dry for 24 hours. You can go ahead and get like their body washed up and prepared for them. She will need to be washed and everything afterwards. But there you go. So basically that is it. Now if you would like to, you can do this. This is optional. You don't have to do this actually. But you see like how there's like the little crack right there? You can go in with your super glue and add a little bit on the crack. Don't add a lot. It's just to reinforce more than anything. Okay. And I think she is done and ready to be washed. I've got them all in this tub, and I have some really hot water in there, and I've got Dawn dish soap and baking soda, and I'm letting them soak in there because some of them are very dirty, and the less scrubbing I have to do, the better, because number one, I don't want to strip off any face paint that is left. Number two, it's going to make the dirt come off easier whenever I am scrubbing. So that's my thought process behind it. Now, I'm really hoping that it does a number for this American Girl doll down there, because I really want that super glue residue to come off of her face, so that way I can have some shot at doing a good job with her. She's one that I am like actively, like I know I'll never make her perfect, but I really want to do a good job with her because she is such a cute doll anyway. But the Francie there, she's beaming. All these other dolls are beaming. I think everything's gonna go the way it should.
Really? That I'd like to see. Well, you will. If you say so.
To clean these dolls, it's going to be the same old, same old. I'm going to clean them in the same way that I clean all my other dolls. There's this huge misconception that you have to be careful with older dolls, and to be honest with you, you really don't. A lot of them can withstand so much, probably even more than today's dolls could handle. However, I will say, whenever you are scrubbing and you notice that your doll might have some chipped or flaky paint, don't scrub it, just go around it. And if you can't go around it, get good at repainting. And if you can't get good at repainting, you better go around it. If you're looking for a thorough and in-depth tutorial for how I restore my dolls, go ahead and check out my dolls, restorations, and tutorials playlist. It has all of your dolls' restoration needs, and it is designed to help you restore your dolls. Whether you want to do something extreme or you want to do just a simple wash, I've got you covered. Materials I'll be using today will be Dawn dish soap, baking soda, and a toothbrush. That is going to be your magic wand whenever it comes to restoring and cleaning any plastic. There are some professional doll cleaners out there, but let me tell you, most of that is just snake oil, rubbing alcohol in a bottle. And I'm not saying it doesn't work, I'm just saying I'm a thrifty bitch. And with my materials, you can find them really anywhere. Hell, you could even buy them on Amazon. Restoration ultimately is an art form, it's a passion, it's a skill, and it's one that you can develop. But don't be nervous, just give yourself a chance, because you were born to thrive and slay. Let me show you one of my first restorations. Now, this is not the first, but it's definitely one of the worst. At the time, I thought I was a god. Here's another one. Need I say more? This is what I mean whenever I say don't be too hard on yourself. That was my work 10 years ago, and I cannot believe it has been that long. And with hard work and perseverance, I have been able to get to the point where I'm at, and I can't wait to continue to grow and continue to show you all of the tips and tricks that I pick up. Basically, I'm gonna fuck around and find out so you don't have to. When it comes to hair care and other things like that, whenever you're dealing with synthetic fibers, a lot of people share that one hack, which is use fabric softener, which I've used it before in the past, but let me tell you, moisturizing hair conditioners will get the job done, and it also won't break the bank. When you deal with fabric softener, you are dealing with something that's really not meant for the use of human hands, so like human skin. It's so easy to add too much, and then your doll's hair smells like that all the time. It gets oily, it gets sticky, and then it gets on your hands and everything. I don't know. To me, like, it's useful, but it's not the end-all be-all. It's not that viral hack that everybody thinks it is. This is going to be a part in the video where I say, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not here to preach to you. I'm just here to try to help you. Other methods work best for me, may not work best for you, so just keep that in mind. If you are doing something and you like doing it the way that you are doing it and you have good results, then don't listen to me. As there's more than one way to cook an egg. So whatever you do, at the end of the day, just make sure that you slay, okay? In fact, I double dog dare you to send this to all of your haters, so that way they can waste an hour of their life that they will never get back. Wouldn't that be fun? To slay together and have a good laugh. Speaking of a good laugh, let's talk about this doll's hairline. She was just one of those poor dolls that really just needed to be rethatched, which made her the first doll in the group to be finished. And if you're looking for how to rethatch a doll, you can go watch my video on how to do that on my doll restorations and tutorials playlist. Free Moving Barbie to me is so superstar Barbie coded, but she actually more resembles the Sweet 16 Barbie. And they have the same face, and the only thing different is the hairstyle.
She's just a regular Malibu Stacy with a stupid cheap hat.
She's got a new hat.
And now we are on to rerooting, but you just do a loop-de-loop and pull, and then your shoes are looking cool. I believe I read that in the Bible. Speaking of the Bible, do you all know how to reroot? Well, if you don't, I've got your back. I made a complete video on it in my doll restorations and tutorials playlist. You all should take a shot every time I say that. Speaking of shots, hey kids. Get your flu shot. I don't know what you crazy kids are doing on this channel, but welcome. Make sure you're here with your parental supervision. Love you so much. Also, news update. I will be continuing the Dedicated Week series, and my next one is so unexpected that it just simply might be expected. When that dedication week will happen will be so unexpected, because I don't know when that week will be. But it's coming, and I hope you're excited for it. Oh, I am. And the big video of that week, I'm just tickled to pieces. I just hope it turns out the way that I planned. So say a little prayer. Wow, your prayers worked, and now her hair is fully rooted and thatched. But it's too long, so I guess we gotta cut it. If you think about it, this may be the third time in this doll's life that her hair has been cut. Once by the factory, once by her original owner, and now by me. Tensions are high, because if I mess up, I have to do it all over again.
Careful, SpongeBob! Careful, SpongeBob! Careful, SpongeBob!
Wow, what a breeze. I wasn't stressed at all. Time to do it to the other side. Don't you love how I'm not doing it in sections? How I'm just eyeballing it and just going for it. And I did it that way because the dolls back in that day were not perfect. They had a bunch of choppy haircuts just like we do today. Some things just truly never change, except for a decline in quality. That's happening everywhere, right? This just chaps my lips, man. Speaking of chapped lips, have you seen the new Mycene dolls? What do you all think about them? I'm considering getting them. And now we're moving on to make a bun for Barbie. A rare amount of Ponytail Barbies were actually made with buns. I truly believe, though, it was the earlier Ponytail Barbies because later on they had their act together. Now, some people think that this was done by the factory as just because they wanted to do it. Some collectors conjecture that it could be some rogue worker out there just putting in buns where the ponytails ought to be. Which honestly, the ponytail is still there. It's just the hard curl is turned under, which gives it a bun type of a look. I mean, even some ponytails had braids in their ponytails. Some other collectors believe that these were the ponytails that were designed to be store models, play only type of dolls, so to speak. Which would also check out because they were secured with a metal pin. Which I don't know about you, that wouldn't be the most comfy cozy thing to find whenever you first open your Barbie doll. But a lot of dolls from the 1950s actually had items and accessories that were secured on their garment and or hair by metal pins, which obviously would never fly today. But also back then you have to understand that toy mass production really wasn't that big of a thing just yet. There were some factories making some mass quantity items, but nothing like today. A lot of companies back then, especially in the 50s, were sharing plastic factories up in New York. So the same place that could be making Madame Alexander dolls could also be making American character dolls, which is when you can run into variations and or some molds looking alike. You can run into some companies making their dolls alike, like how Ideal would make Tammy, where everything was really blow molded. And then you have some Barbie clones at that time that were being made the same way, and you kind of think back to yourself, you're like, I wonder if they were made in the same plastic factory, because they totally could have been. Which again is also why a lot of Barbie clones end up looking alike. It's just something for you all to think about. I've always found manufacturing and the process of manufacturing dolls very interesting. This is just a reminder, if you made it this long in the video, why not subscribe? Why not like? Why not leave a comment? Why not share? Let's continue with the video. Now, I'm sorry that I'm just like breezing through like doing doll hair and stuff, but I have already made videos, especially on how to do ponytail Barbie doll hair. But how I end up getting the most sleekest and beautiful Barbie hair is I will always boil wash the doll hair before I even put it in a ponytail. That way we can start with sleek hair and it doesn't look dead and have crunchy ends, which is something I wish I knew whenever I first started my collection. I know it can be kind of difficult to try to find like an accurate way of actually trying to do a ponytail because they honestly are pretty hard to come by. I'm just super lucky to have had to work on so many. And that is the best way to learn, is to actually just keep doing it and just do it in repetition. And remember to give yourself a lot of grace, because doing a ponytail is not necessarily the hardest job, but it's not necessarily the easiest job either. I used to always do it on wet doll hair, but actually I find it a little bit easier to do it on dry doll hair. So I personally would recommend you wait until your doll's hair is completely dry. When doing that hard curl method, you really want to lather on that hair gel. I personally like to use Got To Be Glued, but truly you could use any hair gel that you feel comfortable with. At the end of the day, it's all about your comfortability. So if you don't feel comfortable about doing a hard curl, you don't feel comfortable repainting or doing any of this, that's no problem. Just don't do it and just do some other things, or just do nothing at all. And if you are going to pay someone to do restoration work, make sure that you ask for their portfolio, because you don't want any jobs done that you don't really need done. And also ask if they could walk it through with you, so that way you know what you're getting and what to expect. Now on to recoloring. Recoloring can be really tricky, especially if you don't know what kind of pigments you're really looking for. And to recolor vinyl, you need a ink, you need a marker, or you need chalk pastels. I personally prefer chalk pastels because number one, they're not as messy, and number two, they are just straight up pigment. And I found them in my experience to last just a little bit longer. Plus, if you add too much, you are just able to wash it right off. But if you still think that's a little bit too much and you don't really like the effect, you can go ahead and just rub some rubbing alcohol over the area and it will eventually fade out. So this will work on soft vinyls. So this will work on the heads and maybe some legs, but it will not work on the hard vinyl as the pigment has nothing to hold on to. If you're looking to do that with hard vinyl, you can use either a marker or you could dye them. The arms and such don't really bother me as much as like a face does, because like to me, like the doll is the face and the body comes after. Whenever I restore, really all I'm looking for is just a pretty face, because chances are I'm not going to have them naked all the time and they're always going to be wearing clothes. So personally, like a little stain here and a little stain there doesn't really bother me that much, especially if it's going to be easily concealed by an outfit. When you feel like you have enough on there, you can take a clean brush and just wipe it off of her face, and you can see that the pigment has now stained her vinyl. And there's no need to Mr. Super Clear it or put on any matte sealant, because again, this needs to penetrate the vinyl and not the sealant. When you do this with sealant, all you're doing is just putting the pigment on top of the sealant. It's not penetrating the vinyl. And to do a proper stain, it needs to penetrate the vinyl. Here it is after one coat, which it's looking a lot better, and you could stop here, but I think one more coat ought to do it, because we're not quite done with her yet. She still needs to get some lashes. And lucky for you, I have already made a how to give your doll lashes video. That tutorial can be found on my doll restorations and tutorials playlist. The trick to doing a good job on lashes is actually to do them pretty thin. If you look at the original examples, their lashes were not that full, about 3 to 4 strands of hair each. And it doesn't look like a lot whenever you have them all separated, but whenever you wrap them around your finger and then they combine each other, then that's whenever they start to form that lash. You don't want to go thick on your lashes. It looks very distracting. It looks very amateur. It just doesn't really look like it's the best. So this is going to be a very tedious part, but it's also going to be worth it. Another thing is also that the mod dolls really did not have black eyelashes. They had a deep brunette color. So if you were going for a more accurate look to your restoration, or whenever you were giving your doll some new lashes, go for a dark brunette. Black was used much later in the mod dolls era, so probably around 1970, which they primarily used for their talking Barbies. I'll be using saran hair for my lashes because that's what I have around, but if you have nylon, that would work too. When it comes to trimming the lashes, it's always best to look at an original example. That way you can gauge how long you want the lashes to be. Some lashes varied, like Francie had pretty long lashes to go with her comb, whereas sometimes Barbie's lashes were sometimes shorter and sometimes they were just a little bit longer like Francie's. So look into those examples and try to see which one best appeals to you. Best part is if you mess up, these are easily removable and it really will only take you about 10 minutes. And when you're done with that, just brush off the excess and there you go, a beautiful doll. When you're making PJ some beads, you can go like at totally random. She had turquoise, orange, yellow, and green glass beads, all of them in various orders. There really was no color combination to follow whenever you get to the later examples of PJ. I mean, heck, this one's using the Barbie head mold, so clearly there was something going on in the factory. My best guess would be that the factory actually ran out of Steffi head molds and had to use Barbie head molds just to keep up with orders. And since this doll was made in the Philippines and she has a Taiwan head, it must mean that they had to outsource for some different heads. Why Taiwan didn't send out any Steffi doll heads, I'll never know, but she is a part of weird Barbie history. And I don't know why out of the Sun Lovin' line, PJ is the one that has the most variations. That too is another question that I have. But if you were questioning yourself and asking what kind of a string I am using an elastic string. I find that this is the best way to do her little hair bands. At least this is the easiest way for me. And before you know it, you'll have one set of PJ beads. And before you know it again, you'll have two. Here we go to repainting. Now this is one tutorial that I actually have never made a specific video on, and I don't have one on there because I know that this is going to be my most frequently asked question, how to repaint. So I figured that I would explain it over and over again in every single video. I personally like to use acrylic paints that are very diluted in water. You are trying to go for a stenciled on look. These dolls were originally stenciled, so they really would not have had any brush strokes. So to make sure that your repainting looks as flawless as it possibly can, it's always best to do this in layers. I like to dilute it enough to where you could actually use it as watercolor. But this acrylic is better than cheap watercolors as it doesn't get chalky whenever it is watered down. After I'm done with repaints, I will usually spray some Mr. Super Clear on top of it. That way her face paint is now protected throughout the years. I like to spend money on high quality brushes because again, it's also all about the applicator that you use. I like to use very long brushes, and I also like to use very fine brushes, as primarily I do paint on small little tiny features. You could get these brushes at any arts and crafts store. We try to stray away from Walmart as I do have some of their paint brushes and they are good for about maybe 3 uses. And then they start to get all nasty. I'm a firm believer that good quality work comes from good quality products, with also some talent, some knowledge, and some patience trickled in. This number 4, oh my goodness, she was just so beautiful. Her face was just a number 4 Barbie dream. Number 4 Barbies and number 5 Barbies are probably my favorite ponytails. They can be so sweet and so sassy at the same time. I just can't help it not to fall in love every time that one comes across my table.
I want more.
Repainting is something that can be very hard to get good at. But just keep trying because you know what, you'll find your groove. Give yourself a lot of grace and a lot of patience. Giving a proper boil wash is so effective. Get to know your doll's hair texture before you do one. Here this Francie is before. So here we have Francie all done. Looking absolutely gorgeous. I do hope that my client is happy with her. Her face obviously has been recolored, lash has been redone, and that's it. She was really beautiful and her hair's been styled and she's been washed obviously. Here this Barbie is before. Here we have the number 4 ponytail. How absolutely gorgeous she turned out. Oh, I absolutely adore her. I told my client, I said, listen, if you don't want her, I would gladly take her off your hands. I think I did a really good job. I dressed her in like a more casual outfit. I definitely put her in a mood that I'm feeling right now. But what do you all think? Here this Barbie is before. Here we have the number 7 Barbie. Super pretty now. And I put her in a little silk sheath just because I wanted to bring some glamour to her. I think she's absolutely gorgeous. Here this Barbie is before. And here is the redhead after. Super cute. Now she didn't have enough hair for an actual ponytail, and she really didn't have enough hair for really much of anything, but I think I was able to make it appear that she has more hair than what she really does. And she's got such a sweet face, so I really hope that her owner is very happy with her. Here this Barbie is before. Here is the American Girl Barbie after. I just dressed her in Sophisticated Lady rather quickly. I do have the accessories to go with it. It's just not on her at the moment, as I have to go take her to her owner right now. So I hastily dressed her. So let's go ahead and check out her face. Her face has been repainted. Look how pretty it looks. Okay, so now we're gonna go over here. You can see that is where the cut was on the side of her face. but it is done up really well. I'm very surprised that I was able to actually get the head back on the neck knob. After you do procedures like that, and it's been over 24 hours that the glue has dried, and sometimes this will work, but go ahead and reheat up the vinyl before you stick it into the knob again, so that way you don't run risk of ripping the same location. But now she's looking very pretty, very festive. We got her some nail polish. We've painted her toenails. She's ready to go. She bends and clicks at the knees now. Very nice. Again, like, is she perfect? No, she will never be perfect, but she definitely looks better than how I originally got her. Here are these Barbies before. Okay, and now we're gonna talk about the heads that I did. So we did a reroot for her from this head. So we've got a little platinum swirl. We have a brunette swirl. And they all have green safe earrings, by the way, that I hand make. I know a lot of you have asked me about how to make these earrings. It may be a tutorial that I put on a Patreon if I ever make one of those, whenever I get to it, as this will be a restorationist daydream right here, especially the ones that like to charge you up the nose for jewelry. So why not have them pay me to see it while they make money off of my hard work? Because, like, to be honest, that's like one of the things that I just want to like be so transparent with you all. Like, I don't mind sharing like all of these restoration secrets and tips and tricks and stuff, because I want them to genuinely help you. But sometimes there's those restorationists out there, those customizers, who want to charge you arm and a leg for work. Keep that in mind. Like, if I'm going to make you pay for something, there's probably a reason behind it. So that's why I probably would be putting that onto Patreon. But there are the heads right there. Let me know what you all think about them in the comments down below. I think that they turned out really well. Here, this PJ is before. And here we have Sun Lovin' Malibu PJ now. We'll give her a 360. Now, you might be thinking, again, that this is not PJ, but it is. This is the Malibu PJ. Now, these dolls were pretty much, I believe, made in the Philippines, but their heads were made in Taiwan. And I've had several of these before, and I've even had one in the box. So I do know that they were definitely produced and definitely made. They're not customs. And you can tell, and honestly, like some of the ones that I've had in the past, I just thought that they were Malibu Barbie because their hair was unthatched and stuff, but the thatching, you can tell, goes all the way to the back, just like a PJ, all the way to the back. So that way you know that you have a PJ and you don't have a Barbie. Now, at the time in the factory, I don't exactly know why they did this, but they probably ran out of PJ head molds and they used whatever they had in the factory because they had things to produce. And to be honest with you, it's still a beautiful doll. It is kind of funny that, you know, like it's definitely Barbie's face, but it's definitely styled to be a PJ. Here this Barbie is before. Here we have free moving Barbie after. We'll give her 362. Now she has been done for quite some time. She's been waiting. She's actually been sitting in my Barbie dream house. And I am quite excited that it is time to show her off and display her. But yes, I almost didn't make this video because I thought to myself, you know, like so much time has passed, nobody would care. I knew that I made a tutorial in here that would be rather useful to you all. But yes, there we go.
Well, I've done all I can do.
I want to say thank you all so much for watching. I really do hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like it, leave a comment, say something down below. I'd love to hear from you. Tell me which one of these dolls is your favorite. Is there any of the dolls that I restored today that have been on your list? Let me know down below. This video was super fun. I eventually will open back up my little doll restoration business. I know a lot of people have asked me if I will restore their dolls, and I know that there is a need for good restorationists out there more of us, and I am one of them. There's just so much that I personally have to do that is involved with that. I do 4 different jobs altogether, so I'm trying to balance everything. So I don't want to go ahead and take other people's dolls, like get a new client list, and then not be able to work on them as quickly as I would like to. But thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you stay tuned. I probably will be gone for about a week and a half. I'm going to do a lot of filming. I have something very exciting coming up that I hope to finish, and I just can't wait to share it with you all. And there's some big and exciting changes going on, and there's a big and exciting week happening, and I cannot wait to share with you what I have planned. So again, thank you all so much for watching. Bye!
That's all, folks.